I'd rather lose a lover than to love a loser.
Basically, he would tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters.
The courtroom was rocked recently as disturbing new details emerged, ones that weren't just shocking, but potentially damning. Just when it seemed like Cassie Ventura's emotional testimony had revealed the worst, another sealed account was handed to the judge, this time from a man who claims to have been a former slave to Sean Diddy Combs. The witness, Jonathan Audi, a name most people might not recognize, but one tied to a wild and highly publicized event in 2018. Back then, Audi was arrested after allegedly opening fire inside the Trump National Doral Miami resort, draped in an American flag. He reportedly caused chaos before getting into a shootout with police. At the time, Audi's statements were dismissed as the ramblings of a disturbed man. Among his claims that he was a slave to music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, and that powerful figures were involved in dark, hidden dealings. Authorities seem to write it off as a mental health episode, but now, with Cassie's recent revelations and Audi's sealed testimony resurfacing, those claims are being re-evaluated. As these shocking narratives collide in court, the pressure is mounting, and Diddy, once untouchable, may be facing his most serious reckoning yet.
And it would always be like Glade, or there was another brand that she mentioned because he wanted it to smell a certain way. And then she
Glade.
says, then she says that they would get extra linens, and we've heard this story.
During his interrogation following the 2018 hotel shooting, Jonathan Audi made shocking claims about Sean Diddy Combs that, at the time, sounded too bizarre to take seriously. He alleged that he was a slave for Diddy and had been involved with both Combs and Cassie Ventura in disturbing, secretive encounters. Most people dismissed his words as the ramblings of a man trying to deflect blame or create a media spectacle, but in light of the explosive developments in the current trial, many are beginning to wonder if Audi was actually telling the truth all along. What's truly unsettling is that Cassie herself, during her recent testimony, confirmed that Diddy had in fact hired Audi multiple times for so-called freak-offs, a term reportedly used to describe highly controversial and explicit private events. This confirmation lends serious weight to Audi's previously ignored claims and is adding a chilling new dimension to the allegations swirling around Combs. According to courtroom reports, Cassie was even questioned under cross-examination specifically about Diddy's alleged slave, believed to be Audi. The fact that the defense felt compelled to address this head-on indicates that there may be far more truth behind the allegations than anyone previously imagined.
Baby oil. She said that they would oil up so much. That was like a big thing for Puff, allegedly. Like, you had to be oiled, that every 5 minutes they were like just re-oiling.
According to reports, Jonathan Audi felt a sense of vindication following Cassie Ventura's testimony, which appeared to corroborate key parts of his long-dismissed allegations. His ex-wife also came forward, revealing that Audi remains deeply afraid of Sean Diddy Combs to this day, a chilling indication of the power dynamics and psychological control allegedly at play. Cassie's testimony, particularly regarding the so-called freak-offs, has been described by courtroom observers as deeply disturbing. She reportedly recounted these events in graphic, step-by-step detail. According to her statement, the encounters would begin with what she called descriptive foreplay, followed by physical touching, often involving baby oil, and would eventually escalate to more intimate acts ending in intercourse. She added that Diddy didn't always participate directly. In some instances, he would simply watch. However, if he and the escort involved felt comfortable enough, he would sometimes join in. These revelations have intensified public scrutiny and added new gravity to the ongoing case, painting a harrowing picture of the alleged abuse and manipulation behind closed doors.
20 minutes in, Diddy's team immediately started objecting to her testimony. Now, the reason why they are objecting is because they're trying to say not even trying. He literally said in court, Diddy's attorney, that everything Dawn is saying is a lie, and it makes no sense.
The level of control Diddy allegedly exerted over these encounters is especially troubling. During her testimony, Cassie described feeling trapped, powerless to say no or walk away due to the overwhelming power dynamics at play. When questioned about why she didn't speak up or try to stop the situations, she revealed that she was often placed in highly vulnerable positions, surrounded by multiple men, with Diddy holding immense influence over her and everyone involved. The fear and imbalance, she said, made it nearly impossible to assert herself. What makes the allegations even more alarming is that these so-called freak-offs weren't isolated incidents. According to Cassie, they occurred repeatedly over a span of several years. The prosecution is arguing that these events were not only predatory in nature, but formed a central part of what they're calling a broader criminal enterprise, one allegedly designed to manipulate, control, and exploit individuals for Diddy's benefit.
They filed the documents on Friday, and they pointed out a series of reasons that Dawn's lawsuit shouldn't go any further. They talk about statute of limitations, improper group pleas, and on.
Another witness who left the courtroom stunned was Dawn Richard, a former member of the girl group Danity Kane. Taking the stand, Richard shared her own harrowing experiences with Sean Diddy Combs, alleging that he sexually molested her, claims that closely mirror the patterns described by Cassie Ventura. Her testimony was so explosive that Diddy's legal team quickly moved to object, outright accusing her of lying. They attempted to argue that Richard's statements about physical violence were irrelevant, asserting that the case at hand wasn't focused on domestic abuse. However, the prosecution pushed back firmly. They argued that the violence Richard described was directly relevant to the first count against Diddy, as it demonstrated a clear pattern of coercion, intimidation, and control, key elements in the alleged criminal enterprise being examined.
Good reason for confetti to be raining down on Jennifer Lopez. She's got a smash hit album, A New Love, and today officially unveils her new clothing line. Still, her ex, Puff Daddy, is never far from her thoughts.
One of the most shocking moments in Dawn Richard's testimony came when she recounted witnessing Diddy physically assault Cassie in 2009, all because her food wasn't prepared on time. Richard testified that the very next day, Diddy confronted her and another band member, allegedly issuing a chilling threat. According to her, he said that when people talk about things like this, they end up missing. That wasn't just a vague warning. It was a direct, menacing threat that implied he had the power to make people disappear. It speaks volumes about the atmosphere of fear and intimidation that allegedly surrounded Diddy and his inner circle. If individuals were afraid to speak out or leave because they feared for their lives, it shifts the narrative from mere toxicity to something potentially criminal. Prosecutors emphasized that Richard's testimony is crucial because it shows Diddy was fully aware that his behavior was wrong and that he allegedly took steps to silence those around him. The judge agreed, overruling the defense's objections and allowing Richard to take the stand. Notably, Diddy's legal team filed a motion to dismiss Richard's civil lawsuit the very same day she testified, an aggressive move that many observers believe underscores just how damaging her statements could be to his case.
I hope that my testimony has given strength and a voice to other survivors and can help others who have suffered to speak up and also heal from abuse and fear. For me, the more I heal, the more I can remember. And the more I can remember, the more I will never forget.
For someone like Sean Diddy Combs, who built a multi-million-dollar empire on image, influence, and public perception, watching it all unravel in real time must be devastating. But beyond the personal fallout, this trial is forcing a much broader cultural reckoning, prompting many to re-examine decades of celebrity relationships and public interactions, especially those involving high-profile figures like Jennifer Lopez. Diddy's past relationship with Lopez, which lasted from 1999 to 2001, is now under renewed scrutiny. One of the most infamous moments from their time together was the 1999 nightclub shooting in New York, where both were arrested. While Lopez was quickly cleared of any wrongdoing, the incident has resurfaced as federal investigators dig deeper into Diddy's past. According to reports, prosecutors are now considering Jennifer Lopez as a potential witness, believing her testimony could shed light on Diddy's behavior during their relationship. Additionally, Derek Lee Card-Elu Smith, who has filed a $400 million lawsuit accusing Diddy of a 1997 sexual assault, has indicated that he intends to call Lopez as a witness, claiming she may have crucial knowledge relevant to that time period. So far, Lopez has remained silent on Diddy's growing legal troubles, even as paparazzi and reporters have pressed her for comment. Her silence has only fueled speculation about what she might know and whether she'll eventually be compelled to speak in court.
This week has been extremely challenging, but also remarkably empowering and healing for me.
In a resurfaced clip from a 2001 interview, Jennifer Lopez was asked about watching an interview with Diddy. She responded that she thought it was important for people to see the real side of him, the side she had experienced firsthand. When the interviewer mentioned Diddy saying his heart was broken, Lopez described him as a genuinely good person and expressed that she wished him the best. Another clip from the same year features Diddy speaking about their relationship after their split, saying he still loves her and always will. What really caught people's attention, however, was Lopez's candid admission in a later interview where she revealed she had a nervous breakdown after their relationship ended. She said she didn't want to move or talk, highlighting just how intense and close their bond had been. While Lopez has remained silent on Diddy's recent allegations, including the disturbing freak-offs, Cassie Ventura has been unflinching in sharing her experience. She hasn't held back the harrowing details of what allegedly took place during those events. The Diddy trial has become one of the most shocking celebrity scandals in recent memory. Amid the flood of testimonies and revelations, it's crucial to remember that at the heart of this case are real people who have allegedly suffered tremendous harm. Cassie, in particular, deserves immense respect for her bravery. Despite being pregnant and due to give birth soon, she chose to take the stand and testify about some of the most traumatic moments of her life.
So this guy was working at the Intercontinental Hotel. He's a security guy who actually responded when Cassie got on the phone in the lobby outside of the elevators and called for help.
The hallway, yep.
The hallway.
Cassie spent a decade with this man, and the testimony she's giving is absolutely gut-wrenching. We're talking about the kind of testimony that's making people in the courtroom physically recoil, as if they just caught a whiff of something rotten. She took the stand for 3 intense days, May and the 13th, 14th, and 15th, 2025, delivering a deeply emotional account of their decade-long relationship, one marked by alleged physical, sexual, and psychological abuse. The entire prosecution's case hinges on whether the jury believes her, and let me tell you, Cassie came prepared. She brought the receipts, laying out her story with undeniable detail and evidence.
In New York City, with the first day of testimony in Sean Diddy Combs' federal sex crimes trial. After seating a jury of 8 men and 4 women, the prosecution delivered its opening statement, and they came out swinging.
One of the most disturbing parts of Cassie's testimony centers around what she called the freak-offs. She explained that Diddy would orchestrate these events, leaving her feeling completely trapped by his power and influence. Imagine being forced to do things that, in Cassie's own words, made her feel disgusted and humiliated. That's a nightmare, she says, she lived through for years.
So I was telling y'all earlier in the show that after being in court yesterday for the opening statements and the first couple witness testimonies, I think that Diddy could potentially get off. His legal team is really like that.
The stakes in this case are sky high. Combs is facing potential minimum sentences of 15 years if convicted. As noted in The Hollywood Reporter, this potential sentence reflects the seriousness of the charge she's facing, including racketeering and transportation to engage in prostitution. The trial, which began on May 5th, 2025, has been complicated by these allegations of witness tampering and jury manipulation. The jury selection process, in particular, has been challenging due to Combs' celebrity status, and the extensive media coverage surrounding the case reports indicate that many potential jurors were already aware of the allegations through media coverage, including social media platforms, making it difficult to find truly impartial individuals to serve on the jury. This challenge underscores one of the broader implications of this case: the intersection of celebrity social media and the justice system. In an era where information and misinformation can spread faster than a hot track's, ensuring a fair trial for high-profile defendants becomes increasingly complex. The allegations of social media manipulation, in this case, highlight how these platforms can potentially be weaponized to influence the legal process. Another important aspect to consider is their response from Combs' legal team. While they have generally denied the broader accusations against him, they have not specifically addressed the allegations of unauthorized phone calls or social media manipulation in publicly available statements. This lack of specific denial leaves room for interpretation and adds to the controversy surrounding the case. One statement from Erica Wolf, a member of Combs' legal team, offers a general response to the allegations. As Mr. Combs' legal team has emphasized, he cannot address every meritless allegation in what has become a reckless media circus. That said, Mr. Combs emphatically and categorically denies as false and defamatory any claim that he's anyone, including minors. He looks forward to proving his innocence and vindicating himself in court if and when claims are filed and served, where the truth will be established based on evidence, not speculation. Sean Diddy Combs is facing some of the most serious allegations of his career, but his legal team's responses have been notably selective. While they've been vocal in denying the broader accusations they've remained silent on specific claims of witness tampering and jury manipulation. This gap is significant given that these allegations are playing a critical role in keeping Combs behind bars. It could be a strategic move by his lawyers, considering the ongoing nature of the case and the potential consequences of any public misstep. The impact of these allegations has already been felt in the courtroom. Combs has been denied bail multiple times, with judges citing concerns over potential witness tampering as a key reason. In November 2024, Judge Aaron Subramanian rejected Combs's bail request, pointing to a serious risk of witness tampering if he were to be released. As a result, Combs has remained locked up at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn throughout the pre-trial period, a significant obstacle for any defendant trying to coordinate a complex legal defense. But the implications of these allegations stretch far beyond bail hearings. If the claims of obstruction and witness tampering are proven true, Combs could face additional charges that would compound his already extensive legal troubles. Charges of obstruction of justice or contempt of court could add years to any potential sentence, further complicating his defense strategy and intensifying the scrutiny surrounding his case. Meanwhile, Combs' legal team has tried to challenge some of the more invasive investigative tactics used against him. One such incident occurred during a search of his jail cell, which his attorneys argue violated his Fourth, Fifth, and Sixth Amendment rights. They claim that materials protected by attorney-client privilege were seized and are now being used against him in court. Prosecutors, however, maintain that the search was justified and that the evidence obtained, including alleged notes about manipulating witnesses and phone access codes from other inmates, bolsters their claims of ongoing obstruction. These allegations of witness tampering and jury manipulation not only reflect poorly on Combs' legal strategy, but also raise broader concerns about power and influence in the criminal justice system. If a high-profile defendant like Combs can allegedly exploit his resources to influence witnesses and shape public perception, what does that say about the fairness of the legal process? This case serves as a stark reminder of the need for strong safeguards to protect the integrity of the justice system, regardless of a defendant's wealth or celebrity status. The impact of these accusations extends beyond the courtroom, sending shockwaves throughout the entertainment industry. The hip-hop community is facing a reckoning as more individuals step forward with allegations of abuse and exploitation by powerful figures. Combs, once seen as an untouchable boss, now finds himself caught up in a perfect storm with both criminal and civil cases stacking up. Theories of the current criminal case date back to November 2023, when Cassandra Ventura, better known as Cassie, filed a lawsuit alleging years of violent abuse and coercion. The lawsuit was settled privately just one day after filing, but it opened the floodgates. In March 2024, law enforcement raided multiple properties owned by Combs, seizing over 100 electronic devices and interviewing more than 50 witnesses. The evidence gathered during these raids laid the foundation for the federal charges announced in September 2024, which include 5 counts: racketeering, trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Despite Combs' insistence that he's innocent, the allegations continue to mount. In February 2025 alone, 10 new lawsuits were filed under New York's Gender-Motivated Violence Act, which temporarily lifted the statute of limitations on sexual abuse claims. As of April 2025, a staggering 63 civil lawsuits have been filed against Combs involving more than 100 individuals. The sheer volume of accusations has put enormous pressure on Combs' legal team, who are simultaneously battling criminal charges, civil suits, and a relentless media frenzy. The media coverage has been intense, with outlets like The Hollywood Reporter, ABC, and BBC Sounds dedicating entire segments to the case. Documentaries like Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy on Peacock, have further amplified the scrutiny, offering in-depth examinations of Combs' rise to power and the allegations that have since engulfed him. Yet much of the public conversation has been fueled by speculation, rumors, and viral posts on social media. Comparisons to the infamous Jeffrey Epstein list have only intensified the hype, but the reality is that the so-called Diddy lists circulating online are largely unverified. Unlike the Epstein list, which was backed by flight logs and court documents, these lists consist mostly of unsubstantiated claims and conspiracy theories. In January 2025, Combs filed a $50 million defamation lawsuit against Courtney Burgess and his attorney Ariel Mitchell, accusing them of spreading false allegations about videos allegedly showing Combs sexually assaulting minors. Combs maintains that these claims are malicious fabrications and has vowed to hold those spreading such rumors accountable. But as the trial date approaches, the stakes are higher than ever. Opening statements are scheduled to begin on May 12, 2025, with the trial expected to last at least 8 weeks. Jury selection has proven to be a complicated process as the court struggles to find jurors who haven't been influenced by the extensive media coverage. Some prospective jurors have already been dismissed due to prior knowledge of the case, underscoring the difficulty of ensuring a fair trial under such intense public scrutiny. The potential consequences for Combs are severe. If convicted of racketeering, he could face life in prison. The trafficking charges carry a minimum sentence of 15 years, while transportation for prostitution has a maximum sentence of 10 years. For a man once hailed as a titan of the music industry, the stakes couldn't be higher. Yet it's not just Combs who's on trial, it's the entire culture that allowed these alleged abuses to go unchecked for so long. As more victims come forward and more high-profile figures are named, the entertainment industry is being forced to confront a long history of power, imbalances, exploitation, and silence. Regardless of the outcome, the case against Sean Diddy Combs has already changed the way we think about power, influence, and accountability in the music industry. It's a sobering reminder that wealth and fame can only protect someone for so long, and as the trial unfolds, the full extent of Combs' alleged misconduct and its impact on his victims may finally come to light. Well, that's a wrap. If you enjoyed this video, check out these other ones